There's 5 instruments in the tamburitza family. The first one is called the prim. I took the ball last night. It's the smallest instrument. It plays the higher notes. It usually plays the melody. It sometimes plays the harmony. In an orchestra, it can play anything depending on the arrangement. I'll let her play a little bit.
Sure, turn this.
Your new string.
1 second.
Okay, that size instrument would be good for the littler kids because they can grab it easier. So if you have any grandkids or children that want to play in the orchestra, that's a good size instrument for somebody smaller. Okay, and all these instruments, like Danko said, were donated, and Paula donated that Broch right there that we're going to check it out next.
Thank you, Paula.
Okay, so are there any questions on the prim?
Let's hear a little more.
You got one slipping.
The strings are all brand new last night, so they slide. They don't get tight right away. It takes a couple days for them to tighten up. So they're going. That's a prim.
So think primo as in the first, which would play lead.
Lead.
And this is a G prim, I
G
assume?
prim. They're all G prims.
All G prims. So you can have them, there are prims that are tuned differently, a little bit lower, which would be advantageous for playing seconds and harmony parts. But you could do either, you could do lead or second on either G prims or D prims.
And when we have more than one prim, they're always going to have harmony. We're not going to have, somebody doesn't just play the melody, you have harmonies playing. All right, the next instrument is called the Broch, and this is the blood and guts of the tamburitza orchestra. If you could think of your stereo, the prim would be the treble, this would be the mid-range. And you don't want too many prims because that would be all trebly. So you're getting most of your sound is coming from this instrument, the Broch. So just think of your stereo. What do you want to hear? You really want to hear the mid sounds more than you want to hear all the highs. All right, and so the Broch, the prim, and the cello, they're all tuned the same way. These are all going to be G Broches and G prims that we're going to be using. So everybody's going to be tuned up the same way. And here we go.
Who knows the next part? Probably not your key.
Not my key.
Nice. Thank you.
All right, and so on these instruments you can see she's tremoloing. That's where you're getting the up and down movement. That's mostly what these instruments do. Just put the cello out next. So the prim and the Broch, they tremolo most of the time, they pick sometimes. Here's the cello. It's the lowest instrument. These instruments, if you know music, are an octave apart. This instrument is an octave higher than that instrument, and this instrument is an octave higher than that instrument. Now the cello plays runs. It fills in the harmony. It's kind of like the bass, but it's playing da 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 da, and you're hearing all the background fill-in stuff by the cello. In an orchestra, you need one because they're very loud, maybe two, but one would be good because it's very loud and it fills in all the gaps. Okay? So I don't know. Do you want to try anything on the cello?
Pretty
Did you get
good.
the idea? All right, now for the kids orchestra, the middle size and the deeper instruments would be for the a little bit bigger size kids because they're too hard to grab for a smaller child, right? So if you've got kids, they're going to do this. The real small ones, you'd be looking at the prim, you know, the teens, 10 above, maybe with the Broch and the cello. And then we go to the Bugatti. I know, do you know how to play chords? Okay.
Why don't you switch?
All right, the Bugatti is just like a guitar. It plays the chords. It's the rhythm. It's just like a guitar in any rock and roll band. Like, you know, dueling banjos is done on a guitar. So it looks like the cello. Let me grab it. So anybody that knows how to play guitar can play a Bugatti. You want to do that? All right, so what I'm playing are chords. And the Bugatti, and we don't have a bass here, but the Bugatti and the bass keep the rhythm in an orchestra. So get the idea of playing chords. Got the idea. So, if you want to play the chords, or you're already a guitar player, this is a great instrument to play. The open chord is G, and you have to have a Bugatti and you have to have a bass in any band because they are doing all the rhythm for you. Even when you're dancing the colo, you can get away with one prim or one Broch, but you got to have a Bugatti and you got to have a bass. So if you don't have a bug and a bass, you can't do it. So this is a vital, and Bugatti and the bass are called the rhythm section in an orchestra. Okay, so I just wanted to give everybody an explanation of the instrument, so you can, if you want to play, and we're taking everybody of all ages in this. In the colo group, we want everybody to participate. So I don't care how old you are or how young you are, we're taking you. The kids, maybe the 7 is about the youngest, maybe 6, right in there to play because your fingers aren't there yet. But we'll take anybody that wants to learn. So I don't care who's here that wants to learn, we'll take you. All right? And please, we need kids. We need kids. We got to feed this, and we need the children. And the more, the merrier. And it'll be so much fun when you have people of all ages dancing colos together. It's really neat, right? You know it. So I want to introduce our choreographer, Henry, and he can tell us about colo lessons, which are going to start right after this. And you're all welcome to go upstairs, and we're going to learn how to dance. Go, Henry.
Give him a hand.
Hi,
Henry!
I can leave now. Thank you.
We're gonna...
One of the real joys of music is dancing. And the benefits of dancing are absolutely tremendous. We won't even get into that right now. I've written a number of things on that related to mental health, physical health, weight loss, all of these things. But the fact is that the way we look at international dance or international folk dancing is that it's also a window into our past, and it helps preserve history. So for me, I'm passionate about the idea of keeping it alive. So we just moved to Florida a year ago or so. We did our part in Kansas City. We've done our part in other places before to try to preserve all this. So we have a very specific starting point here, which is Croatian music. And I think it's worth talking about the way we're going to approach it, or the way I'm hoping to approach it. There are performing groups and there are community dance groups. And our intent is to look at this from the community dancing standpoint. If that evolves into some type of performing group, great. But the idea is that most of this dancing is a way to keep fit, keep busy, but not that it's so complicated that,
Closer to the mouth.
My feet work better than my mouth. but not that it's so complicated that you can't divert your attention to other important things, like spreading gossip and telling rumors and all of those sorts of things. So what we find in village dancing or community dancing is that most of the time you're doing fairly simple, straightforward steps and you're repeating them unless it gets very energetic and you're in a position to say, did you hear what he's doing? And did you see what the butcher had on sale? And my God, have you seen? And it's that kind of a thing, because once you learn the steps, which tend to be repetitive in the sense that you'll have a series of steps that can be used in a lot of different dances. Now, there are completely different types of dances where all of a sudden, and I'm not going to show off that now, but where you're doing things that are so complicated that you're having trouble keeping your breath or not concentrating on that. But what we're going to start with is dances that seem to be fairly repetitive. And that means that they will be true village dances or community dances, which allow us to interact with each other. Because after all, this is not a class. There are no tests or anything like that. We're all supposed to have fun. And in all the things that we're doing with international dance, whether it's Israeli dance or Bulgarian dance or former Yugoslavian dances or any of that, British Isles dances, all of the people who are involved in that, for the most part, just want to have a good time. So, with a big enough space upstairs and a variety of music, then we'll kick it off today with, I have 6 different dances, and they're going to all seem a little bit different to people who haven't done this before. And it's going to seem a little bit different to people who have done it before also. One of the beauties of folk dance is that each village is different. So when we dance, if I'm doing a Bulgarian dance, for example, and I'm doing it a certain way, and somebody says, well, that's not right. Of course, I dance police. I say, no, 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 don't tell me that's not right. Just tell me that your village has village idiots and mine doesn't. And we know what we're doing and you don't. But the fact is that there are variations, and we're not going to be too concerned about that. I'm trying to develop the philosophy, and I haven't come up with a name for it, that the first rule of folk dance is the Hippocratic Oath. First, do no harm, in terms of bumping into people, stepping on their toes, or twisting them around, or whatever. And we're going to try to keep it civil and fun. And the one thing about a lot of Croatian dancing is that it tends to be a bit energetic. And once Edo and the group starts putting together live music for this, and I hope to participate that with some other instruments, then you'll find that they don't want to stop. So they'll want to do the same dance for 20 minutes or 25 minutes. And so you better have something to talk about. So anyway, we'll be starting that upstairs when everyone's ready. Well, we can. The problem is that I have a feeling that we're going to run out of room so quickly.
Yeah, he doesn't think there's enough room.